probably going to be a shock to your system. Let me start by giving you my background. I am the 7th of 9 children. And I grew up in Nigeria, and when I was in my early teens, we went to war, the Biafra War. So my experience of those years kind of involved seeing the most surreal thing I'll mention to you is seeing a man running and he was headless.
What?
Yeah, because shrapnel had taken off his head. And he was still running until he tripped and fell somewhere. Seen lots of dead bodies, but what that taught me is how short life is. Just like that, and it's gone. But if it's so short, why are we made in such a special way? Each person on this universe has a thumbprint nobody else has. That makes me very proud. Makes me feel so special. Nobody else has got my thumbprint. I left Nigeria after the war. Okay, let me admit this. I was in the convent. I was going to be a nun. I don't look like a nun yet. But that was because I didn't go in there for the right reasons. When you're the 7th of 9 brilliant children, you want an escape. Because Daddy wanted me to be a lawyer. He has a laureate of the Sorbonne, he has doctors, he has industrial chemists, he has pharmacists, a pilot, an aeronautic engineer, and me. So, I joined the convent. 2 weeks later, they discovered I was there for the wrong reason and told Daddy to send me away until, for about 3 months, and if I decide to be a nun, I can come back. So, I came to England on holidays. One of my sisters was studying industrial chemistry at Preston University. Anyway, I was in London as a tourist, and I was in a bus, and I saw Shaftesbury Theatre. Any of you know where Shaftesbury Theatre is? Well, in those days, Madame Tussauds used to have a head of hair, colorful. It was kind of rainbow colored. And on this theater, there was a show called Hair. You're all too young to remember this benefit. Anyway, I saw this head. Never mind, it was an afro head, and Madame Tussauds was different. But anyway, both rainbow colored. So I joined the queue. There was a very long queue going. 2 hours later, I was at the stage door. And I thought I was at Madame Tussauds. So I said, how much is it to go in? The man said, this is an audition. I wasn't even listening. I said, okay, how much is the audition? So he said, he was quite patronizing. You don't pay, you sing. 2 weeks at the convent, sound of music every day. So I thought, sing. Wow, that's fantastic. I love this country. If you want to get anywhere, you just sing. So I went in there, and everybody was singing the same songs. Have you heard of her? When the moon is in the 7th house, Aquarius, Aquarius. Oh, you old babies. Precisely, there you go, someone my age. Anyway, so when it came to my turn, it was quite a strange audition because there was a voice in the dark that said, are you a member of Equity? I said, what's that? They all roared with laughter. And they said, okay, what's your name? I gave them my name. What are you going to sing? I said, I didn't come to sing. Oh yeah, you see, you come to an audition and you don't come to sing. And it was a singing audition. So the musical director said to me, come on, you must know a song. They actually thought I was a comedian. Because everyone else was dressed like a hippie. It was a hippie, it was a show, where every young person was fighting for freedom, which was the beginning of our problems today. Because I thought surviving the Biafran War, I know where my freedom is. It's here. Why should the government give it to me? How many governments do you see that last forever? Exactly. So why should I depend on something that does not last forever? I don't know how to do that. So I started my life in show business because I got the part after singing, "Oh, Sarah, life with the sound of music." Well, this is what got me into show business. 48 years later, I am standing in front of you, having done many things. You see, show business, quite honestly, is an industry which promotes depression. And I'll tell you why. You're as good as your last hit. Okay? In the hair, when I joined hair, whoa, I was 16. Can you imagine? I was the youngest by about 16 years.
So you're
Yes, I was more streetwise. I've been through a war. They have only heard of wars. And they were fighting for some kind of freedom. And what was the freedom? To do drugs. To smoke marijuana. On my birthday, my 17th birthday, they spent, when I was in the show, it was 5.5 months, thank you, Lord. They spent 5.5 months trying to see me stoned, just once. On my birthday, they baked a cake of marijuana. And they put LSD in my champagne. Well, all I can tell you is, I had survived a genocide and I knew how to say no. If you imagine 42 people saying to a 16-year-old, 42, older, yeah, come on, chicken, you know, it's just, I have to tell you, when the show starts, you come over the audience's head in slow motion. From the auditorium, even from the dress circle, you're sliding down in slow motion. That was what was mesmerizing about the show. It looked impossible, but once they taught you, it was good. So I'm thinking I could either break my neck, because I'd never tried alcohol or anything like that. Anything stronger than quinine I hadn't had. So I said, no, sorry. After the show, not before the show. I've never tried this stuff, and that cake does not look like the cake my mother used to bake. So I will not touch it. That is how strong my character was. But I can tell you where that came from. My mother. Everything we went through. My mother had one of the nastiest divorces you can think of. My earliest memory was of my parents' divorce, and I was 2. And I remember it so clearly that I had to put it down in a book recently. I have lost many siblings. And that woman, my mother, stayed strong. See, she would say, and my brother still say to my sister, when I call them, incidentally, having a big family is incredible because that is your first society.
Yes.
When anything happens, even now, I'll call my brothers or my sisters and I go, oh, I can't. Oh, I don't think I can. They go, what is it that you cannot overcome? The God who made you is bigger than that. Bingo. Mommy had put it in our minds so much that you only have to say to me, God is bigger than that. Yeah! He's bigger than anyone. I have grown up not being afraid of my fellow men. I am not afraid of a single living being. I would respect their position. I'd respect Her Majesty when I meet her, or the royals. But if they disgrace themselves, they'll get it from me. Because I'm not good at it, because I know nobody's above me and I'm not above anyone. I have a thumbprint that is just mine. Your spirit is another thing. Your spirit is stronger than you think. Your spirit is so strong that it cannot be broken unless you give the person the permission. I wrote down on the table there's no such thing as a free lunch in life. Everything has a price to pay. See, you were talking about suffering, and you thought you had to suffer? Well, I did the same, but religion does that to you. And if I'm not, you see, before I go on stage to sing, if I'm not nervous, I have to find the nerves. because I think it's character forming. And if I'm nervous, I know my audience, they don't know why, but they want to protect my spirit. And that's what they love about me. They don't know it, but I know it. So I have to find that. You know, you were talking about, your story is wonderful. And you have survived because we needed to hear you today.
That's right. Amen.
We have a role in life, every single one of us. It's like fitting into a jigsaw puzzle. That's how great God is. I despair when someone is missing before their time because they have not fitted into that hole. When I give my students lectures, I said to them, see the skin, it's mine and nobody else's, and I love it. I don't want yours. It might be too big for me. It might be too small. This is the one God gave me. And I'm very proud of it because that's incredibly, believe me, I feel sometimes I look in awe. But it could be snuffed out just like that. So what is the reason? What is the reason for me being here? If not to bless somebody else. Yes, and I tell you what, you go through bad times so you can help others. Everything she's been through has brought her here today. And somewhere among you, you're going to leave here and remember what you have heard. Because that's what we do in life. I am so sorry about your sister. I am so, so sorry about your sister. But you know, the thing with your generation, your nemesis is social media. Because you were so good at social media, but nobody has prepared you for being discerning. The good, the bad, and the ugly. You know that delete button is my best friend.
Block.
Thank you. Block and delete button is my best friend. Because you're taking somebody's opinion into there. He has no business being in my mind. Who gave him the permission to speak to me? Whoever is at the other end. People say to me, you're in show business. Your Twitter page should have. I said, why? Why? You know the me thing? Of course I had that when I was 16. I came to England. Some agent, famous, nameless, I can make you a star. In my naivety, I went, you can? If you have that kind of power, how come you're not a star? No, but it's true. That was kind of really childlike. And I say, that's very generous of you. But if you have a power to make somebody else a star,
Why did you become?
surely you can make yourself a star before you can make me a star. See, in my mind, there's only one person in charge of me, God. If you're looking for somebody's opinion to make you feel strong, forget it. It's there. I have an academy called the Potter Academy. What you know about my academy? I teach young people this. Last year, 2 years, at my age, the years become like days, don't they? I'm in my mid-60s, in case you're wondering. A few years ago, I had this woman come to me, she was on medication. And her daughter found me and said, please, can you help my mother? We wanted to send her to finishing school, but we feel the finishing school will finish her off. They were right. I looked at this woman's broken spirit and I thought, how did it get to this? So my husband said, there's nothing you can do for her. I said, who says I am going to do it? There is the Spirit of God that does these things. I didn't create her. So I thought, okay, I said to her daughter, I will take your mother on, but here is what we will work on. 10 days program. I wish I could show you a picture of her. I said to the woman, do you believe in God? Because I won't be doing this. You have to work with him. I will just guide you. She is a governor of one of the states in Nigeria. I won't tell you her story, but it was a very sad story. And they put her on this medication, which thank God she's slowly coming out of. And I said to her, you can beat that, because they didn't create you. They just give you the medication to get rid of you, because they have 10 minutes with you. Thank you. Now, she calls me, she lives in Nigeria, she calls me every week just to say thank you. And I thank God for her. But I want you to know how special each of you are.
Exactly.
I want you to know how special, how incredibly beautifully you are made. You just don't know it. If you can only see your spirit, my gosh, if you could see your spirit, you'd be in awe. And you would not think that you cannot overcome depression. Depression is just there to train you. My depression trained me no end. Your depression has trained you. It trains you to be a better person and to help others. You use it, and the more you use it to help others, the better you feel about it. So please, 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 think of who you are, okay? Please, just think of who you are in this mental health problem. Only you can get hold of it. Find the person who can help you talk and communicate. Well, God bless you all, and I'll see you soon.